Hello everyone and welcome to the big game. I'm Carson Fryou alongside my good friend Daniel McClain, and tonight we'll recap Southeastern's big volleyball win over an SEC opponent.
We'll also take a look at the New Orleans Saints season opener against the Tennessee Titans.
But first, let's see how the Southeastern Lions football team fared in their first two games of the 2023 season. The Southeastern Lions football team started their season in Starkville, Mississippi against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Lions scored their first touchdown of the season in the second quarter when Zachary Clement found Jacob Logan for a 2-yard touchdown. From then on, it was all Bulldogs as Mississippi State would score 38 unanswered points backed by quarterback Will Rogers' 227 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, to go along with the Bulldogs' combined 298 rushing yards as the Bulldogs picked up the 48-7 victory.
The Lions traveled to Mobile, Alabama last Saturday to take on the South Alabama Jaguars in hopes of picking up their first win of the season. Let's take a look at these highlights. The Southeastern Lions facing off against South Alabama Jaguars, both coming into this game with a Week 1 loss. Let's see who comes out victorious. A slow start to the first half of the game, both teams scoreless until 5.5 minutes left in the second quarter. The Lions' 12 plays for 93 yards capped off with a 4-yard touchdown from Northwestern State transfer Zachary Clement to his tight end Ivan Drabaki. South Alabama starting at their own 25-yard line, play action. Bradley, sitting comfortable in the pocket, fires on the crossing route to number 9, Devin Voisin, for a 29-yard gain, setting them up for the 1st and 10 on the Lions' 40-yard line. That will be followed by a 33-yard gain by LaDamian Webb, spotting them at the 2-yard line. Webb would then line up on the right side of Bradley. The handoff, and Webb would walk in untouched, tying the score at 7 apiece going into halftime. Back from the half at Hancock Whitney Stadium, neither team being able to do anything on their opening drive. Jags now back with the ball on their own 21-yard line, a big first down run for Webb for 17 yards, followed by a 17-yard completion to Voisin 2 plays later on a nice corner route. The Jags were able to move the ball with ease. Carter to Collie Lacey for a 9-yard gain. Then Carter would go back to Voisin for a 10-yard gain, but Voisin would go down with a knee injury. He did return later in the game. After his injury, the handoff to Webb would be running freely, ending that drive with a 13-yard touchdown run. After that play, it was all Jags. It's 3rd and 4, ball on the 8-yard line. Kentrell Bullock gets the handoff, is hit as he goes in, and scores another Jaguar touchdown. Lions were able to put more points on the board, but only enough to make the score more respectable with an 8-play, 80-yard drive, capped off by a 1-yard Harlan Dixon touchdown run, making the score 35-17. Lions fall to 0-2 on the season, while South Alabama gets their first win, evening up the record at 1-1.
Southeastern's Week 3 matchup against Eastern Washington will be a battle of winless teams as the Lions travel to Cheney, Washington to take on the Eastern Washington Eagles and redshirt sophomore quarterback Kekoa Vespires, who according to head coach Frank Selfo is the driving force behind the Eagles offense.
Team, when you look at the blue bloods of SCS football, Eastern Washington's one of those, won a national championship. So I think for them offensively, everything goes through the quarterback. He is such a good player. He's played some last year, but now he's got the keys to the car, and he's doing he does a heck of a job. He's dynamic, throws, gets on the run, gets out of the pocket. He's tough to control, throws the ball from all different kind of arm angles. But they got a couple of dynamic receivers, and then their run game is really solid.
Over the weekend, the Lady Lions volleyball team picked up their first ever win over the Lady Tigers at the Pete Maravich Center. Southeastern picked up the 3-1 win led by Kaylin Newsom, who had 17 kills while also picking up her 6th double-double of the season. Cicely Hidalgo also had 17 kills to go along with 10 digs, giving the Lady Lions their 6th win on the season.
Coming up after the break, we'll check out how the Derek Carr era got underway in New Orleans. Don't go anywhere. The big game will be right back.
Watching it isn't the same as doing it. maybe it's time to go outside.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to the big game. The New Orleans Saints welcomed the Tennessee Titans to the Caesars Superdome last Sunday to start the season, and I was on hand to witness this Week 1 matchup. After an agonizing long off-season, the season opener between the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints had finally arrived, and Saints fans were not disappointed. The Saints defense and the atmospheric Superdome crowd left a lasting impression on Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill as he was sacked 3 times and picked off 3 times. The Titans offense never scored a touchdown and relied on Nick Folk's 5 field goals to put points on the board. Head coach Dennis Allen spoke on how he felt about his defense's performance.
I thought he played a hell of a game. I thought our secondary made some plays on the ball. I thought it was tight in coverage. Everything they got, they had to earn, and I thought we did a good job up front being able to get a little pressure on the quarterback.
On the other side of the football, the Saints offense had a sluggish first half, with quarterback Derek Carr getting sacked 4 times and throwing a pick before halftime. After that, Carr completed 10 of 13 attempts for 163 yards and a touchdown, with no sacks. Carr gave major credit to the improvement of the offensive line.
They did a great job in the second half, and this is without watching the film too. They made it just be like, all my fault. But in the second half, it just felt better. The timing of things, however it worked out, it was just better.
Wide receivers Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Rashid Shaheed each eclipsed over 60 yards receiving. And with less than 2 minutes left in the game, and on 3rd down, Carr launched a 41-yard pass to Shaheed as the Saints would go on to run out the clock and take the victory. Carr spoke about how offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael trusted him and Shaheed to seal the victory.
Me and Pete talked about it on the sideline, and I told Pete that was a play that I liked, and he trusted Sheed and I to make the play. And the offensive line gave me time to throw it, and when he's that fast, I just was just trying not to throw it out of bounds. That goes back to Pete trusting us before that drive. That was something that I really liked, and he called it, so that he has a lot of trust in us as players, and that means a lot as a player.
Though it was a hard-fought battle between the defenses, Derek Carr shined in his debut in the black and gold, throwing for 305 passing yards and a touchdown, and with the final score of 16-15. The New Orleans Saints will be traveling to Charlotte this Monday to face the Carolina Panthers in an NFC South Division battle. For the big game, I'm Carson Fryou.
When the Saints travel to Bank of America Stadium to face off against the Carolina Panthers, they'll be taxed with slowing down the #1 draft pick, Bryce Young, and head coach Dennis Allen feels they'll have to limit his abilities to extend plays if they want to improve it to 2-0.
I thought one of the best things that he did was his ability to create, in terms of off rhythm or off timing throws, be able to escape the pocket, be able to climb and escape. Some of the for lack of a better term, some of the playground, football that he's able to, create on the field, I thought was one of his best assets. So he's clearly, a good prospect, and we're gonna treat him with the respect that he deserves.
It's been almost 20 years since a pro sports team has called the capital city home, but that all changes this October when the newest Louisiana team hits the ice. Big Game reporter Brendon Smith has the latest.
From the outside, this may just look like any ordinary office rental building, but on the inside, Louisiana's newest sports team is hard at work.
A lot of work has gone in for our home opener.
This is the office of the Baton Rouge Zydeco, an expansion hockey team in the FPHL. Here you can see employees hard at work to make sure everything is according to plan.
Starting a team from the ground up is We moved furniture in. We got our contract signed with the River Center, along with our insurance, our lease, our internet, down to even our utilities.
And it sounds like the team is here to stay.
We really want to be a part of this community. We think to be successful as a team, we have to be a part of the community. Our team and our staff is going to community events, and as soon as all of our players come in, we have them scheduled to go to the libraries and read to the kids.
Some other teams that will be playing the Zydeco this season are the Columbus River Dragons of Georgia, the Carolina Thunderbirds of Winston-Salem, and most notably, the Mississippi Seawolves of Biloxi, who Baton Rouge will be playing a total of 21 times this season. Reporting for the big game, I'm Brendon Smith.
The Zydeco will kick off their season Thursday, October 26th, as they host the Columbus River Dragons. All 56 of their total games will be available on YouTube. Now we're going to take a break, but when we come back, our good friend Brendon Smith will join us on the desk. Don't go anywhere. The big game will be right back.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Welcome back to the big game, and joining us on the desk is Brendon Smith. Brendon, thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here.
Well, now fantasy football season has officially started. So, Brendon, who do you think are the best two quarterbacks to start this weekend, and who are the best quarterbacks to bench?
Well, I think to start, if not for Patrick Mahomes, this guy is the best quarterback in football. It's Jalen Hurts. He's got one of the best weapons in football in A.J. Brown, and lined up against the line of scrimmage against a Minnesota Vikings secondary that doesn't look too hot. I think that's a must start. And then also another must start, Brock Purdy. He's got a lot of weapons, and he's back. He's going up against a Rams defense that sold their soul for a Super Bowl trophy. And I think for a sit, I think the guy on the opposite side of the field, Matthew Stafford, he doesn't have his top weapon in Cooper Kupp. And that 49ers defense and Fred Warner and Nick Bosa looks awfully scary.
I think that's a great underrated pick to start for Brock Purdy. He's got so many weapons and nobody seems to acknowledge it. He's got Brandon Ayuk, he's got Deebo Samuel, he's got George Kittle, he's got Kyle Juszczyk, and he's got Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league. And speaking of running backs are the majority bulk of points in fantasy football. And Daniel, what do you think are your best choices to start at running back, and who's the one running back to sit?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to put it out there that I am playing you this week in fantasy, so watch out. I am projected to win, so you better watch it back on that one. But best running backs to start, I'm going to start off with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has been a top-tier running back since he's joined the league. Although his age and injuries are questionable, if the Titans can manage his carries and get him more involved in the passing game, his rushing numbers might fall a little bit, but his overall play should excel a lot more. Another running back is Breece Hall. After coming back from an injury, week 1, you would think they would limit his carries, you would think they would limit his rushes, but that just wasn't the case. 10 carries, 127 yards, looks healthy. Now, a running back that I would suggest to sit, Alexander Mattison, after going up against a very strong defensive front line in the Eagles defense, his efficiency is very questionable, and after being Dalvin Cook's backup for the past 2 years, he hasn't had a 50-yard run in his career. He averaged under 3.9 carries in the past 2 years. He is just not the home run threat Dalvin Cook was.
Excellent points, and I don't see him breaking 50 yards against the Eagles either. And now wide receivers, the most filled position in the league. There's wide receiver 3s on teams that could be a wide receiver 1 on other teams. But there's so many great superstars at wide receiver, but we have to limit it to the starters and the bench. Brendon, who are the two starters at wide receiver, and who do you bench?
Well, let's start with the best wide receiver in football, and Justin Jefferson. He's lined up against an Eagles secondary that doesn't have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson anymore, and I think he should have a field day. Also, another start is Tyreek Hill with his connection with Tua Tagovailoa. He looks absolutely electric. And lining up against that New England secondary who drafted a cornerback last season, I think he'll eat. And then to sit, Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson being their long-term starter now, Aaron Rodgers going down after only 4 snaps. It's absolutely tragic. And sadly, his snaps are going to be going down for this season.
Okay, good. I think that's a great choice, but Daniel, I'm still going to beat you this weekend at fantasy football, so good try, but I'm the god. I'm sorry. Can't help it. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Game. For more information on Lion Athletics, visit www.lionsports.net. For more of us here at The Big Game, visit thesoutheasternchannel.com. So for Brendon Smith, Daniel McClain, and the whole Big Game crew, I'm Carson Fryou saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Big Game.